Alright, so this is going to be a little guide on poking. Poking is not an easy strat to do, so don't be too hard on yourself if you struggle. This is quite an advanced strat. I'm not going to give exact time frames because I think strats are pretty much your opinion of when you use them, but these are high level strats. Now, poking itself of the Snivelak boss, regardless of which setup you use to get to the boss, whether it's a proxy route, which I do, or the easier route, which is taking the jump pads, regardless of which route you use, the poking itself doesn't change. And so, essentially, what poking is you're pushing Ratchet up against the boss, like that, but then if you imagine this, if you're looking at my hands, if you imagine this is the crotch of the boss, you're putting the gun hitbox literally inside the boss, so that the hitboxes are crossing over, and the hitbox of the hover bomb is inside of the boss. When you do this, the hover bomb basically doesn't know what to do, and so it instantly fires at, like, when you fire the shots, they will instantly explode. Like, they genuinely don't render at all. They don't spawn the hover bombs, they just explode and do the damage straight away. And so that's really important. So what you're doing, keep in mind that the crotch on the boss has double damage, so you need to be making sure you're doing, his crotch for the damage. And optimal poking is also hitting the hitbox of his leg at the same time. Because you're doing explosive damage with poking, you're trying to hit the double damage on his crotch as well as one of his legs at the same time. So it's double damage, crotch, and then also his leg. So you're at a slight angle. I'll demonstrate that when I actually start poking. And what you need to do is you don't actually want to mash circle for this. Because basically you can actually shoot more shots than what actually is used. So if you mash circle, you're going to use more ammo and not do as much damage. So what you actually need to do is a bit of a rhythm. So it's like circle, 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 rather than just mashing. I don't remember the exact rhythm because it's been a while since I've done this, to be honest. But if you play around with it, you can figure it out. If you do it properly, you shouldn't run out of ammo before the fight. In fact, you should maybe even have one spare. If you have more than one spare, you're doing it too slowly and you're losing damage. But if you have one spare or you're dead on zero, that's perfect. That's what you want. But if you're running out early, you're screwing it up. So with that said, the whole time you're poking this boss, unlike Yeetle Protopet, you need to be pushing Ratchet physically up inside of him. So I'll show you. So there's like this where he pushes back. That's not poking. The bombs are exploding and actually spawning. What you need to be doing is you need to be walking forward and pushing inside of him. Now that's not just for getting poking. That's just because when you do that, you're also close enough to his hitbox that your shield is then also doing double damage to the crotch, and he's also shooting himself. And the boss shooting himself is big damage. So there's a few reasons you need to be pushing up against him like this. So the whole time you're holding forward, and as you can see, that gives me generic poking like that. And then the next thing you need to do is, although you can do it looking forward, it's basically to do with a little bit of lag reduction. You need to be looking down as you poke. So you're looking down, holding that way, and this guy's going to die, so I'm just going to kill myself and get there again. But you need to be looking down and looking slightly at an angle so that you hit one of his legs. So yeah, as I was saying before, the boss rudely lost health. You need to be looking at a slight angle and you need to be looking down. So the main things you need to think about when you're doing boss poking is Snivelak boss poking specifically. You need to have the shield on because that's bonus damage. You need to be pushing forward the whole time, and you'll know you're pushing forward enough because Ratchet physically gets pushed down into the ground a little bit. If you look at his feet when you're doing proper poking, you actually can't see them because they're inside the bridge because you're getting pushed down. Let me show you. So this is normal, and then poking, you can see his feet are getting pushed into the ground there, and you can't see them as easily. So that's what you need to be doing. So you can see, yeah, you're getting pushed down a little bit. The other thing you can say, I'm not even poking right now. You can see how much damage he's doing to himself. That's why it's so important. You need to have shield and him shooting himself because he already does so much damage to himself. Poking is not the main hover bomb is only half the damage here. half of it is him just damaging himself. So yeah, after you're pushing into him, you also then, as I said, you need to be looking down. If he does that, you're taking too long. He should die before he does that animation. So yeah, down and at a slight angle like that, so that you hit his leg at the same time. Alright, so I'm going to do one kind of final demonstration here. As I said, down, diagonal, and pushing into him. So it looks like this. You kind of need to like wiggle a little bit. I'm a little rusty at this. But yeah, slight angle like so. And you can see, you know you're getting it because you don't see the hover bomb swarming. You just see, basically, meant to describe it as a fart cloud. You just see the big puff of green smoke, essentially, going out constantly. And as I said, you don't want to mash circle. You want to be hitting it periodically. It's like boom, 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 boom. And that's the rhythm you need to be going in. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to boss poking. A lot of it comes down to just practice. You need to be careful he doesn't push you off. If he's too close to either edge of the bridge, you can have issues where you can walk forward and actually fall off the bridge. Or the opposite, he can rotate if you're not careful. And if he rotates, his hitbox pushes you off. So be careful to not let him rotate too much. And also, if he rotates too much, he can break the bridge. So there's a few things you need to be careful of. But for the most part, it comes down to just practicing. So make sure you're looking down, you're pushing into him, and slightly diagonal. And that's really all there is to Snivelak boss poking. If there's questions, feel free to join the Ratchet and Clank Discord and shoot a message to the Going Commando chat. Or shoot me a Discord message. I don't really care. Anyway, hope it's helpful.